Welcome everybody to another episode of Especialmente Normal International Edition. We have here our team, me, Madalena, Filipe Ferreira and Telma Santos. And today our special guest is Moon, or I'm going to try to say it, Montserrat.
Yeah.
Help me. Okay. Montserrat.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Hi, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So I'm just going to do a small introduction and then we'll start with the conversation. So Moon is 27 years old and she's from Mexico. She loves black cats. She has traveled the world and worked in an international arts festival. She's been working in the restaurants industry, but she recently left a manager job to venture in her own food-related project. All correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Great, yeah.
So you are at the moment living in Mexico, where you're from, but you've also lived in the UK, correct?
Yes. For short periods of time, but like a lot of times.
Yeah. So what are the big differences between living in the UK and living in Mexico, from your experience?
I think from my experience is in Mexico, I live in Mexico City. And I think what defines Mexico City is chaos. So yeah, I think the biggest thing or the biggest difference is the contrast with like London, which is where I've stayed longest in the UK, because everything is so like ordered and everything works under the rules and the certain, like lines that everybody follows. And I think that is a big contrast that we're not used to in Mexico. Like just, it's not like, for us it's easy to just go around the law or just like not even be aware of the law. Rather there, everything's like over there and nice and everyone knows what their rights are and what the laws are and what to do and not to do. So I think that is the biggest difference in like, living in different.
And you've been traveling to different parts of the world. You and Madalena met in India, for example. How do you compare being a woman in Mexico as opposed to the other places in the world that you've visited? Is it different?
I think it's a very profound subject. But personally, sadly, what I found is that as a Mexican woman, we are so like built up this way of being always almost like a bit paranoid about being safe. So I think it's something that we have like very inside of ourselves and we don't even notice that we do. But I think actually the funny thing is that the worst things that have happened to me, like traveling like a woman, have been outside of Mexico, because I think I relax in my paranoia and like my taking care of myself. So I think that's when you allow bad things to happen. Like and here back home, I never do. Like I'm always like prepared. Or like in India, I knew I had to be like always prepared or expecting like, danger everywhere. Like, but that's like how I usually live. So it's all very sad. I can laugh, but it's not okay. No, it's not that I'm saying it's okay. But I think that's the main thing is that my daily life is already like that. So traveling around the world doesn't feel anything more of a challenge or of or something that would like limit me to say, I will skip this place because I don't feel safe, because it's already something that I have in my daily life, which is wrong in so many levels, but somehow it works for traveling alone like a woman.
Yeah.
You're so used to it that you're not worried when you go someplace else because you're already used to living with that.
Yes. And I actually think that being outside relaxes me, and that's how like you sort of get into risky situations because you'll be like, nothing will happen here because it's a different place, but actually danger is everywhere. No?
Yeah, that's true.
That is awesome.
So what is the one thing that you wish people knew about Mexico? Maybe not the most obvious thing, but something that you think it's special about your country and you wish more people would know.
I think like people, like themselves, like people, like Mexican people are so like strong and resilient. I mean, I don't think we have that I don't know, fame outside of Mexico, you know, like the stereotype is normally we're sitting by a cactus drinking tequila. And I mean, sometimes we do that, we do like it, but it's not the only thing we do. I think we're very hard workers. Working outside of Mexico, I realized how our working culture is so like different. Like we are used to like just leaving everything at work and like just taking everything, good or bad, and just like still like do everything you're meant to. And I think working in other places, that has been like shocking, like how much we are used to like hard work and like just like take it. You're here to do that and you should do it. And then you go outside and people are like more used to being able to say, oh, I'm tired, I'm going to take a break. Like here we don't do that. And I don't think we have that fame of like being hard workers. Like we just have, you know, I think we have a lazy stereotype of Mexico. And I actually think we're very hard working people. And like, I don't know, in that sense, I think I would like people to know how like, how adaptable
good workers you are.
And resilient we are, because I don't think we have that. And being Mexican, I think it takes us a bit to recognize how like resilient and like strong we can be as a culture. I think we don't easily do that. So even us, I wish we knew it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, your culture has a very special relationship with that. Can you tell us a little bit about Dia de los Muertos?
Yeah, I think I actually like that holiday a lot, because it's one of the few that remain like very untouched by other influences of culture. I think, I don't know, it's quite normal for
How
me.
How many days it is? Can I ask how many days? Is it just one day, the Day of the Dead, or it's like
no, it's like
of celebrations?
The whole festivity is like 5 days. So there's like this whole, I don't think I know the actual, like, you know, the original story, but
yeah,
it's meant to be this like whole trip for the souls from Mixland, which is like the world of the dead, to our world, right? So all the trajectory, or how do you say it, like all the journey is like I think it's a few days, and then when they're here, in theory is the 1st of November, which we call Dia de Todos los Santos, which is like when they come. Yeah. So they party all night in theory and then leave on the 2nd. So for us, the whole holiday is from the 1st, like the 31st of October, because they arrive on the first hour of the day, sort of, or they start their travel and start arriving to our altars or whatever you do to like welcome them, no? Because it's not only the famous altar that is that the word altar?
Yeah, in Portuguese it is. I don't know if
yeah. You know what I mean? So it's different in all parts of Mexico. So whatever you do to receive them, they're meant to arrive between the day of the 1st and then even the 2nd. So for us, it's sort of like we prepare weeks before, like in the start of October, you're allowed to set up and be ready. So you see all the flowers and stuff for like month and a half here. But the actual festivity is like 5 days when they leave.
Wow. And it's nice. March, when is it? No, October, sorry. November, yes, sorry. November, yes, okay.
Sort of like, I think we lost track of the Dia de los Muertos for a bit because of our influence from the States. So it's like Halloween and then Day of the Dead and then da. But I think lately, for like 10 years, somewhere there, we've been recovering and sort of losing Halloween a bit and coming back to Dia de los Muertos and more traditional sort of festivities.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, nice. So as Philippa said, we met in India, in Goa, actually. So, and you were there for 2 weeks. And then COVID.
Yes.
COVID made the things very, very hard for us to be there. So, but why did you end up in India in the first place?
If I had to choose like one thing, I think it would be food. But that's because through the festivals I've worked in the UK, the people I've worked with are from India, and their food stall is Indian food. So they also run like cooking holidays. So they have like this setup to receive people and for them to stay. Da, da, da. So they always offer that to friends and family, and that was like the start of me going to India. And then I thought I would travel alone for a bit and keep discovering places, but then COVID hit, and I just went back. I thought it was safer to go back and then come back with a fresh opportunity of good memories rather than go into this place and generate all these like negative memories because of a thing outside of it. It's something that was.
How long were you planning to stay?
I think my original plan was like 8-9 weeks or something like that. Okay. I had a visa for like 3 months, so I could stay as long as 9 weeks.
Okay.
But I think in the end, yeah.
It was a good 14 days.
No, yeah, it definitely was. And I got to see a bit of what I wanted to see. I met some nice people, you see. So it was really worth it.
From what you were able to visit and see, what did you like the most? Besides food.
Besides food. I think the contrast between places, like how big everything is, and like you think you've seen a lot, and then you move like 3 kilometers down and there's a whole thing and you have no idea that was there. So like that, like majestuosity or whatever you can call it, like suddenly being in this temple that has been there for thousands of years and you just pass by if you don't pay attention. It's all full of like, I don't know, I think that like how full of mysteries and a lot of stuff, like, I feel like every corner is full of so much stuff in India. Like you can spend whole days in just a tiny little town.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah, I agree with you. And was there any cultural shock? Not really.
I think if I had been to the big cities at some point, maybe it would have hit me harder. But I think I for a bit I was traveling with this English woman, and she was a bit shocked with like the whole men staring at you in the street and like didn't know if to say hello back or if be like insulted that they were like trying to, and I mean I was more discreet, like I could pass as people thought I was like from North India and stuff, but I'm used to that sort of not paying attention to man talking to you in the street, or like just not feeling that pressure, like just the the trauma of presenting, I don't know. So it was less of a shock in so many ways for me, like the chaos that I actually had this conversation with other people coming back to Mexico. Like I think if you were from somewhere in Europe or somewhere that is more like organized and structured, and then go to India, you must be like, oh, what? Like, what am I doing? Yeah. But I think being from Mexico, it was a bit less of a shock. It was just like, okay, this is a bigger chaos, much bigger chaos. And it still works. So I think it wasn't so much of a shock, because actually I think my interest in India come from how much our cultures are alike. But it's a culture that we as Mexicans never turn to see. Like we're not familiar with it. So I find funny how much of our food, our colors, our everything has so much of an influence from them that I think, I don't know, and that was one thing for me to go. So the shock wasn't as big because I was sort of prepared and ready for it. Yes, that's
great. And where were you planning to go next? You were planning to stay in India and then come back home, or travel around like to Asia?
No, I think I only had the budget for like India. I was tempted to go to Bangladesh at some point, because I actually had like friends of a friend there that could like host me for a bit. So that was like a possibility, but my plan was India and just the south. I wasn't gonna go very up north. I think it's such a
very big country.
Yeah, exactly. In India, you have plenty of things to visit. So,
yeah. So I was just going to stay in the very south.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, you talked already a little bit about this. How was traveling alone in India as a woman? It probably was easy for you because you are, as you said, very prepared and aware. But did you notice something shocking about like girls alone in India that you recall, or was normal?
I
Was
wasn't.
not that.
Yeah, I don't think I was exposed enough because of the trains I took, apart from one, was with friends, the friends that worked from India. So, but the thing that was like a bit like, like frustrating was that if I was traveling with them, I was sort of invisible. Like nobody would make eye contact with you or like talk to you, or like even the ticket validator would like ask them for your ticket. Like that kind of, that was frustrating because it was, I don't know. Like, how would you get by if you were alone all the time? Like, who would you reach out to? Because if people can see you or you're invisible, like it's just. So I think I was sort of hoping and dreading that of traveling alone, and I didn't get to do it enough to say like, oh, this is
you can do experience.
I wasn't but it must be very challenging because that was frustrating then.
Yeah. Well, India, yeah.
I mean, also approaching women is always good, no? Like I think that would have been my approach. Like,
And like you were saying, it's a big country, so probably also in different parts of India you will feel differently. You will be treated differently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's such a big country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, just being a tourist, they have different behaviors. And in small cities, they are like with curiosity, and they want to know about you. In like tourist place, they want to sell you things, and blah blah blah. So it's different, according to the place.
Yeah.
Sure. So Madalena told me that you are an advocate for homeopathy.
Yes.
When did you first got interest in that? Can you tell us?
Well, I think since I was very little, my mom sort of had a preference for homeopathy treatment rather than Occidental medicine or Western medicine. Which is funny because my mother is like a chemistry, biopharmacy chemistry. I don't know how to translate it, but she likes medicine theory, but she sort of knew the dark side of it, I guess. So she always sort of turned her to a more natural treatment. And here in Mexico, to be a homeopath, you have to be a general doctor first. Okay. So if you're going to a homeopath, you're going to like a general doctor as well. So I think that's that makes a difference, because then always my family doctor was always a homeopath. So I would have a double, what's it called? Like one prescription. No, I would have Western medicines if they were necessary, and then the homeopathic treatment. And so I've always liked it, and I've always known that it works for me, because I also don't think it's for everyone. And I just like it. I've been a witness of how it works. So now I sort of try to pass it on to friends and to everyone, like, well, this works for me. Do you want to try it? And then if it works for them, they like it. So it's nice. Yeah, no, I like it.
So for you, it's not one or the other. It's like combining the best of the two worlds.
I think it's homeopathy until it's not like working. like I never go for Western medicine before trying homeopathy. But like,
if it's not working, then you open to.
Or like when it's like a case of infection or something that you need like the thing about homeopathy is like it's slow, right? Like it's slow healing, and if you are in an emergency or like in case of infection and things that you need, like you have no time to fight them, then I have to use like Western medicine, and that's when I don't like look even at homeopathy. I just go for whatever is going to save me, right? But in any other case, I go always for homeopathy first. Yeah.
And what do you think are when you're talking with people and friends, like you were saying, what do you think are the most common myths or wrong ideas that people have about homeopathy? Are there common things that people tell you that actually are not true or something like this?
Well, I think most people go for it's only like a placebo effect. And I say, well, even if it's a placebo effect, if it works,
it works,
right? So I don't mind if it's a placebo effect. I think I don't know if I would call it a myth, but one of the things that people say is like, oh, it's all like plants, like how are plants going to save you, right? Like, I think most of Western medicine is based on plants, like the actives that actually like do the thing come from like a substance that a plant produces, right? So it's like, yeah, your argument is not valid because everything that cures us or heals us or helps us, like it comes from plants. And homeopathy, what preaches is that you have everything you need to heal yourself. And what the homeopathy does is just like remind your body what's wrong. And then from there, your body's like, oh, okay, that's what we need to do, right? So I like more that idea of healing, because also Western medicine, like, I think the myth goes to Western medicine when, like, I don't know, for example, just in my family, 2 of my mother's brothers and sisters have diabetes, right? So they've been in the treatment from Western medicine all their lives for diabetes. And just recently, both of them were diagnosed with liver disease, like cirrhosis. I don't know the word in English. And it's like, because of the medicine for the diabetes. It's like, yeah, because what they do is treat symptoms rather than the thing that's wrong. And that's what homeopathy does. Go for the root of the problem rather than the symptoms you're having. Symptoms are meant to be a good sign that your body is healing, right? Is doing what it needs to do. Like temperature is like killing the bacteria or the virus that you have inside. And like, I don't know, all these things. I think the myths that we need to deconstruct are from Western medicine being good rather than the myths that we believe wrong from homeopathy, right? Because homeopathy is just sitting there healing the ones that use it, saying nothing, naming no one else. And the Western medicine is causing problems everywhere, I think.
Yeah, that's true. And that's why we were so interested in talking to you, because here in Portugal, for example, I didn't know about homeopathy. I don't know how to say. And my friends also don't know. That's why I thought it was really
Sorry?
I don't know if here people have to be a general doctor in order to practice. I don't know, actually. I'm curious now. I'm thinking we need to check that. I don't know how it works.
I don't think it's like that in many places. Like in the UK, it's not like that. You need to study for being a homeopath, but you don't need to be any other sort of a medicine student or anything else. You just need to study homeopathy. And I think that, I don't know why it's so popular in Mexico, because it's been here for like years, and Latin America in general, where I haven't been that south down, but where I've been, it's a thing everywhere. Like we all are very, like it's always been there and someone follows it, and it's not the most popular sort of a medicine, but it's always there. Like around me where I live, there's 3 different like homeopathy pharmacies, and it's just tiny. I don't know. It's been here all the time.
Wow. Yeah, here, no. Yeah, but we should. I'm going to look into it.
Yeah, we're going to.
Yeah, do. Maybe you can bring it to Portugal and make it.
Sorry. In Portugal, it's like alternative medicine, not general. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
We have some medicines in the pharmacy, but it's only
okay. Thank you, Alexa.
You're welcome.
Okay, so now let's talk about work. You used to working for restaurants, but you recently started your own chili business. Can you tell us about that? Are you working alone? Do you have a team?
I'm working alone at the moment, because I think I'm just doing whatever I can do with my 2 hands, because I'm only responsible for myself by night. So I have the privilege of just saying, as long as I have enough for myself, it's okay. And the chilies I'm making is funny, because I started making them because I was completely addicted to them. And while I was in the UK, like in lockdown, I ran out of the ones I had brought from home, and I just went like, what am I going to do? Like, this is the only reason I wake up in the morning, like I need my chilies. So I tried to get them from Mexico, and it was so expensive. I wasn't working or anything, so I wasn't going to spend all my money like getting chilies from home. So I just, I saw some chilies that look very similar to the ones that I was eating, but like prepared like I do them. So I just said I'll see how to make them, and started making them, and my family there liked them, so I started making bigger batches and like that. And then I came back and then said, now I can do it with Mexican chilies. So I started making it with Mexican chilies, and my friends became addicted, so they demanded more. And it's just like a chain of addiction to these chilies. And now I'm just taking advantage of it and selling them. And they're helping me right now to stay on my feet while I get to something else. So it's nice, and it's funny because it just all came from addiction to them. So it's just
it's right. Well, it's a business that you love.
Yeah,
that sounds really nice. And now you are about to launch a lunchbox service too, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be all vegetarian and vegan because I believe in not. I'm personally not either vegetarian or vegan. I've been vegetarian for phases in my life, but being in Mexico and having tacos in every corner makes it very hard. But I do have this rule of not having meat in the house, so we don't cook any meat. So I only have meat when I go out. So trying to feed this sort of mindset of you don't have to be either nothing in meat or fully eating meat every meal. No? You can just leave a few meals a week without meat, and every little change helps, right? So that's my sort of mindset for these lunch boxes. And I'm going to start small with the people I know that know my cooking and trust it and that kind of stuff, and hope that slowly, like the chilies, because I haven't done much for publicity or stuff, so just mouth to mouth and people saying they're good and stuff. It's the things I can cover by myself, so that's enough for me for now. So that's what.
Do you have a date for the when it will be available, or it's still a work in progress?
No, there's a date now. I started it's so easy to see the numbers and see the recipes, and be like, yes, I'll do this. So then when you have to do all the stuff with just 2 hands, it's like, how do I do this? But hopefully I'll do a try, a running, I don't know how to call it, a lounge sort of thing with the office of a friend who are all willing to order their lunch for a day with me. So I'll do that as a test that I can actually do it and run it, and how many meals I can sell a day and stuff. And then if that is all set, I'll start for the second half of April to launch it and start offering it. So yeah, I have good faith in it.
Yeah, it sounds good and it sounds delicious. Yeah. I wish I can. I will try for sure one day.
Yeah, I have a little bit of Indian cooking there. The idea is a bit of. I only have 6 main dishes, but they're all from different cultures and different. Because I think every cuisine can be vegetarian, and I think we miss that. We just go for a straight line of vegetarian food or vegan food, and you can actually have all the flavors. Meat, right? So that's the idea, to sort of prove that you can eat whatever you crave, but vegetarian or vegan. So that's
wow.
So I think it was in the UK, you worked for the WOMAD festival. I had never heard about it before. Can you tell us about what it is and how was working there and all of that?
I didn't work for WOMAD itself, but for a restaurant that goes to WOMAD. Okay. And WOMAD is a very nice festival. It's very international. There was meant to be the first one in Mexico this year, last year, but with the whole pandemic thing, it didn't happen. But hopefully soon. And they go around the world, and it's a showcase of the world, sort of, right? So their name is World of Music, Arts and Dance, or something like that. And I think it's very nice. It's a very nice festival because it's a very family friendly. You can see babies running around and grandparents running after the babies, and everyone's having fun. And the place I go there is as a volunteer. I've been there on and off for the last 10 years. I've been 7 times. And it started a little chai selling stall of charity, and then now we are 100 volunteers for the weekend. And we have all these timetables and structure and things waiting for you. There's so many things to organize, and it's very nice. It's a group of people from all over the world. We sell Indian food, Our cooks are from India. And yeah, it's very nice. We serve like 5,000 people over the weekend. We serve like 5,000, 6,000 meals. And it's just very nice work. I think for me, it's like the climax of like proof that you can do what you like for a good cause with good people and like responsibility, right? Because they're responsible in every way of their like actions. Every source of the food and stuff is responsible. Everything's nice and everyone's a volunteer. So that just makes it like everyone's there because they want to, you know. So you step into the restaurant and you just feel happy. It's like it's a very nice place, and WOMAD has allowed us to like grow with them somehow because they've been setting the stall or the restaurant for like 28 years now. So I think they've grown together, and it's just like, it's my happy place, I think, that work in that festival. And last year was the first year that it didn't happen for like 30. So yeah. But I think they're ready for this year now, so it's good.
Good.
Yeah.
How did you first went there? Was it because you were working already with the restaurant? That's how you started going to the festival?
No, it was because my family, like so I have family in the UK because my uncle married an English woman and moved to the UK. So their family is sort of like chosen family. This group of friends are part of the people who started this cafe, which is called Madras Cafe, the restaurant. And so my cousins started going there since they were little. I think I was there for the first time that they went, which was back in 2000. I was visiting with my mom, and we all went there, and we just kept going. They kept going every year. Now my cousins are sort of like the running leaders sort of the CAF. The whole generation of their parents has, well, I mean, they're in their 60s now, so they don't feel like doing all the work that it is. So slowly their kids have been taking over, and it's very, very nice. So that's why I started going, because of my family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds great. Nice. And have you ever been to Portugal?
Yes, I have been there. Only one? Like 5 years ago.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Do you want to come back? Where did you go? Lisbon?
Yes, I think firstly I was by myself in Faro for a few days. And then I went to Lisbon, and then I met a friend there, and then we did a little bit of Sintra and like
that's nice.
Other one, Porto, and yeah, it wasn't that long, but I really, really enjoyed it, and everything was so nice. The weather was so perfect and like just nice. I really want to go back. I hope one day.
Well, in Mexico, your weather is also very nice. I think.
It is nice.
We cannot complain. And what about our foods? Do you remember anything specific that you eat while here?
Really, like traditional, I don't think I can remember any traditional Portuguese food. I do remember the sweets, like the nata, something with nata.
Yeah, pastel de nata, but yeah, of course. Yeah.
That I do remember. But I think the friend I was traveling with was a bit like a fussy eater. So maybe I didn't do a lot of experimenting. I don't remember the...
Next time.
Yes. I won't make the same mistake twice.
So
you have to come.
We always
visit us.
We always have we always ask our guests to leave a question for the next guest.
Okay.
So we have a question that is not from us; it's from the previous person. And the question is: what is the moment or a short period of time in your life that shaped you the most?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a deep one.
We were talking about food and so we got very deep.
Yeah, wow. I'm actually right now where I went to university, like in the town I went to university, I came to have a little holiday. And I walked into the flat. I lived my whole university time, and I just sort of went into full tears because I realized like it's only been like 4 years since I left this flat, and I came back and I was like, wow, I lived so much here. Like I became the person who I am here. And I think it was at the university more than for the studying part, like the being by yourself, because I went It's not in Mexico City. This is Puebla, another state. It's not far from the city, but I was out of home. And I think that was like, yeah, I think that's what defined me. The moment you're like by yourself and you need to, you sort of become your parents somehow because they're not there. So you somehow become them and just, So I think you're this place where I'm at right now, which is where it's the most. Yeah, I think it's the time I grew the most. I think I grow every day also, but
that's also true. Yeah,
just the moment. I think every day defines me, but still, I think this time of my life was very important to who I am today.
Yeah, it's the first shock, I will say, that you are not with your parents and you have to do the things alone. Yeah, I feel the same. You grow up a lot.
Yeah. Sure. Like the first time you're responsible of actually staying alive, so I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And, what did you study?
I studied hotel and restaurant management. So it's basically like tourism or tourism management. But,
And what is the name? You were saying? What is the name of the city of your university?
The name is Cholula.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's actually 3 different towns that have that word in their name, and they're all together, but they're like different ones. It's weird. But Cholula makes the cut, and that's the town. There's a lot of universities in this area, but this one here is the one I went to is very close to where I am right now. It's very nice, and it's like it has a good level of like academia or whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a good university. Yeah.
That's nice. Was the love of traveling that made you choose that?
I think it was part of why I chose the thing to do. But I've also been very like a service advocate. Like I don't know what the word in English is, but just like vocation. Yeah, like vocation, like since I was like 7, I wanted to feed you. You know, like I just wanted you to sit and let me feed you. So I've always been like that. So hotels and hostels and everything that involves people coming to me and me making sure they have a good time. I think that's my thing. Whatever that's a restaurant or a hotel or whatever, just like that is what I like to do.
That's good. Wow. The next question is a regular one here on the podcast. It's because of our name. That is Especialmente Normal. Probably you can understand, but it's the same in Spanish probably.
Spanish is the same, basically.
Yeah. Well, so what do you consider especialmente normal or especially normal? Something that is normal, but it's very different.
No. I mean, if I wanted to go into my line of thought and mindset, I would say food, because it's something that is there and you need every day. And somehow if you put a little bit of extra effort into it, it's special, you know, like it's just like today. And I was also laughing about that, like transition of people. Like I've always been this person who stands up and makes breakfast for everyone. Like that's just my nature. And I'm here with friends right now, and it was a bit shocking how a lot of them got up early, you know, and we all made breakfast together, and everyone was doing something. Maybe they don't cook at home, but here they were cooking because we were all doing it, right? And then you set the table, and it's the most basic breakfast you can have in Mexico, what we had, you know, like it's the most basic, simple thing. It's like tortilla chips and salsa, and that's it. But we just made it so special because we all chipped in and sort of made it together. And I think that for me, like every meal can be so special, and it's just because your mom made it, or like every meal can be very special. And I think sometimes we overlook food, or we just eat to like satisfy that like void, right? Yeah. But I think every plate of food can be special.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also another question that we often have here, I don't know if Madalena told you in advance or not, but no, it's okay. But the question is, what question does no one ever ask you, but you wish someone would?
Oh, I saw this and I thought I must prepare for this, and I didn't. But
it's a difficult one. I don't have an answer yet for this question, and we are doing this podcast for like a month.
Yeah, since December.
Yeah, so it's difficult.
Okay, so let me think of it. Like, maybe
Yeah,
Take your time.
well, I mean, maybe this is too obvious, but like, it's what keeps coming to my mind, so maybe that's what I go for. Like, I think just like people genuinely asking, like, how are you? You know, like, but like giving you the space to actually tell you how you are, like I don't know, I remember being sad sometimes, and if somebody asked like, oh, how are you, and you just went like, oh, actually not great, and they just go, oh, good, la la la, and just keep on, like, they didn't even hear your answer, you know. So maybe that question, but like with like the whole intention of actually listening to me and how I'm feeling, I think that is the question that I always want with that space, is what I think I want. And sometimes people, or more often than yes, people don't really give you that like space of saying you how actually you feel, of like, yeah. Is that valid?
Yeah, it is more than valid. Yeah,
I think
it's a really good one. Yeah,
common everywhere. Like I think all of the cultures, or most of them, you ask how people are, but it's just you're not really expecting an answer. Just say it.
Yeah.
So I think that like we ask the question, but we don't really listen to the answer.
The answer, yeah.
We don't really want to, you know.
Yeah. So good answer and good question. Yeah, we are in the end of our talk. Thank you very much for saying yes to this thing that I don't know what it is. It's just a hobby that we started in the quarantine, and yeah. I really liked meeting you in India, so that's why I really wanted to talk to you again. So thank you so much for coming, and thank you for this amazing conversation. And
for
goodbye,
creating
everyone.
Like,
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So bye, everyone. See you in the next episode.